1950, and the eyes of all nations are suddenly turned towards Korea. To members of the United Nations General Assembly, Korea loomed as a tinderbox with frightening potential. Britain's Labour Prime Minister Clement Attlee flew to Washington for urgent talks with President Truman and General Eisenhower. On June 25th at 4 a.m., a North Korean army crossed the 38th parallel into South Korea, and the battle was on. At this time, Russia was boycotting the Security Council because it had rejected a Russian motion to unseat the representative of nationalist China. Thus, a Russian delegate was not present when the Security Council carried an American-sponsored motion calling on North Korea to withdraw its armed forces. An admirable idea, but a waste of words. 2 days later, the American delegate reported to the Security Council that American air and sea forces had been ordered to support South Korea. An emerging 3-year conflict that was eventually to cost over 200 Australian lives. It became known as the Yo-Yo War, a tragic mixture of advance and retreat. A meeting of the United Nations voted unanimously for an American to take command. General Douglas MacArthur was given the job, but later fired by President Truman. In America, on an official visit, Prime Minister Menzies addressed the House of Representatives, stating it was better for Australia to send a small force quickly than a large force many months later.
We all have laid on us today a duty to be prepared, to be strong, not with the strength of a bully, but with the strength of a deliverer. The world needs the United States of America. The world needs the British peoples of the world. The world needs every scrap of democratic strength. May all that you stand for and that we stand for be preserved under the providence of God for the happiness of mankind.
At the same time, another Australian was in the limelight in America. Harry Bridges had risen to the head of the powerful and militant American Longshoremen's Union. He was found guilty of inciting strikes and faced deportation, but won a protracted court battle. Back home in Canberra, members of the Communist Party from all states protest against the anti-Red Bill, aimed at dissolving the Australian Communist Party. They challenged the act, and after a 23-day hearing before 7 judges of the High Court, the Anti-Red Act was declared to be constitutionally invalid. It was a victory for the Communist Party and Party Chairman Sharkey, who had just served 15 months for advocating that workers should support an invading Red Army if Australia were attacked.